My entitled girlfriend secretly took my car on a road trip, crashed it, and left it abandoned. Then blamed me for overreacting. So I dumped her and took legal action. I'm 28, and up until a few months ago, I was dating Amanda, who's 27. I thought things were fine. She was a bit self-centered, but I figured I could handle it. Her family was another story, though. They'd come over to my place and act like it was their own, use my Netflix account, or just borrow things I own like they had a right to it. Take my car, for example. It's a 2018 BMW 3 Series, used but in perfect shape. I saved for years to get that car. And Amanda knew exactly how much it meant to me. But she never really got it. She'd laugh at how attached I was, roll her eyes whenever I told her I didn't want anyone else driving it. It's just a car, she'd say, like she couldn't understand why I'd care. Her dad was the same, telling me I was too sentimental and should have spent the money on something smart, like real estate. But I didn't care what they thought. This car was mine, and it represented years of work. That's the context. Now, here's where things went sideways. A few months ago, I had a work conference in another city for a long weekend. I asked Amanda to watch my cat and pick up the mail while I was gone. I didn't think much of it, assuming she'd spend a quiet weekend at my place. Well, I was wrong. The second night I was gone, I got a text from a mutual friend, Kevin, asking if I'd loaned Amanda my car to go up north with her friends. What? I texted back, totally confused. He responded by sending a photo of Amanda and her friends, grinning and posing in front of my BMW on a mountain road. I called her right away, no answer. When I finally got her on the phone, she brushed it off. Relax, she said, laughing. We're just taking a little road trip. I'll bring it back in one piece. I was so mad I could hardly get words out. I told her to turn around and come back immediately, but she just laughed it off again, saying I was being dramatic. According to her, it's just a car. You weren't even using it. And that was that. She hung up, and I was left sitting in my hotel room, seething. The next day, she called me again, but her tone had changed. She sounded rattled. There was a little accident, she said. We hit a guardrail, but it's not that bad. We're fine, but the car, well, it might need a little work. She said it like it was no big deal, like she'd just bumped into a shopping cart in a parking lot. When I pressed her for details, she got defensive, saying, it's not totaled or anything. We're leaving it in a safe spot, don't worry. And then she hung up on me again. The minute my conference wrapped up, I booked an early flight back and got home by late Sunday. I didn't even wait to unpack. I just grabbed my keys, got in my friend's car, and drove to where Amanda had left my BMW. I found it on the side of some deserted road, looking like it had been through hell. The front was smashed, the bumper hanging off, and there were dents all over. Inside, it was a mess of fast food wrappers and trash. It was clear her little accident was anything but small. I called her again, furious. She finally picked up, sounding annoyed, as if I were bothering her. I figured you'd want to handle the insurance stuff since it's technically your car, she said. I didn't want to get in your way. I told her exactly what I thought of that excuse and hung up. On Monday, I called my insurance company. I explained the situation, including that she took the car without my permission. They told me that because of that, I had grounds to file a police report for unauthorized use, which would make her liable for the damages instead of me. I thought about it for a while, wondering if it was too extreme. But the more I replayed our conversations, the clearer it became. Amanda didn't care. She hadn't even apologized. So I filed the report. When she found out, she went ballistic. She showed up at my place, banging on the door, calling me every name she could think of. She accused me of ruining her life over a stupid car. Your dad was going to pay for the repairs, so I don't see why this has to be a big deal, she yelled, acting as if I'd gone way overboard. I didn't flinch. I told her we were done and that I was going through with the legal action. That's when things got interesting. Over the next week, her family and friends piled on, texting, calling, messaging me on social media. They couldn't believe I was doing this to her over a car. Her dad called and actually asked me to post a public apology on social media to clear Amanda's name. He said she was devastated and that I was being unfair for holding her youthful mistake against her. I told him his daughter wasn't a kid, and that this wasn't a mistake. She deliberately ignored my boundaries and then wrecked my property. He acted like I was speaking another language. A few days later, Amanda's sister showed up unannounced. She wanted to take my cat. She actually claimed Amanda was closer to the cat than I was, and that he'd be happier with her. When I said no, she called me selfish and said I was keeping the cat just to hurt Amanda. I had to physically block her from coming in before she finally gave up and left, muttering insults under her breath. But it didn't stop there. Amanda's friends started harassing me online, saying I was ruining her life and accusing me of being petty. One of her friends even suggested I should pay for her therapy because she was struggling with the aftermath of our breakup and the police report. Another messaged me, saying I should have let her keep the car as emotional compensation. It was like they all lived in an alternate reality where I was the villain for standing up for myself. Then Amanda's mom reached out. She wanted me to compensate her for a few items Amanda had left behind at my apartment: a throw blanket, a perfume bottle, and a small vase. She claimed these things had sentimental value. Here's the kicker. I'd bought every single one of those items as gifts for Amanda. When I pointed that out, her mom didn't miss a beat, saying, "Well, they're from both of you, so Amanda should get something out of this, don't you think?" It was like they thought they could gaslight me into feeling guilty. I moved forward with the police report. I told my insurance company everything. They declared the car a total loss, and because Amanda had taken it without permission, she was held liable for the damages. At one point, her dad tried to pay me off to make the whole thing go away, but I refused. This wasn't about money anymore. This wasn't about the money or even the car anymore. This was about Amanda understanding that she couldn't walk all over people and expect no consequences. I wanted her to get it, to realize that just because she and her family thought something was no big deal, that didn't make it okay. The legal process moved forward, and I didn't hold back. The more her family called and showed up, the more resolute I became. Every phone call, every "how could you do this to her?" just reinforced that I was doing the right thing by not caving. At one point, Amanda's mom left me a long voicemail, saying she hoped I'd find it in my heart to stop this madness and that her daughter was going through a tough time. She said I should consider Amanda's emotional state and that what I was doing could break her. She actually tried to guilt me, as if I was causing the problem, as if Amanda hadn't completely disregarded my trust and my boundaries. It felt like everyone around her was trapped in her fantasy world where she could do no wrong, and everyone else just had to pick up the pieces. Then a mutual friend messaged me, saying she heard that Amanda was telling people I'd ruined her financially. She was apparently spinning it as if I'd bankrupted her for a single accidental scratch on the car. When I heard that, I honestly laughed. I was done letting their narrative affect me. They could think and say whatever they wanted. Throughout this, I noticed something that stuck with me. Every single time I said no, every time I set a boundary, her family's reaction was the same: outraged disbelief, like they'd never met someone who actually stood their ground against them. They acted as if I were some kind of monster, just for insisting on basic respect and accountability. It was almost impressive, in a way, seeing how deeply rooted their entitlement was. In the end, Amanda had to cover the damages. Her insurance rate skyrocketed, and she was left paying out of pocket for the repairs. I heard through friends that she'd been complaining nonstop, calling me heartless for making her suffer over a minor incident. And naturally, she spun the whole thing into her being the victim, saying I'd ruined her life over one little mistake. But by that point, I'd let it go. I didn't need to win their approval or convince them I was in the right. For once, I wasn't going to explain myself or defend my actions. I'd spent way too long letting her and her family push my boundaries, letting them take advantage and shrug it off. That was over. Since then, I've cut ties with everyone involved. Amanda, her family, even the mutual friends who kept pushing me to forgive and forget. I blocked them all, wiped my hands clean, and moved on. It was the best decision I'd made in years. I finally felt like I was free of this weight I hadn't even realized I was carrying. Looking back, I can see how all those smaller things, the Netflix password, her dad's constant lectures, the family crashing my Sunday mornings, were signs of a bigger issue. They didn't respect me or my boundaries. And Amanda was just the tip of that iceberg. Now, whenever I meet someone new, I'm a lot more aware of those red flags. I'm done excusing behavior that doesn't feel right, and I've learned that just because someone thinks they're entitled to your time, energy, or property, doesn't mean you have to put up with it. If someone can't respect your things, your space, or your time, then they probably won't respect you either. It took losing a car, but I finally learned the lesson. And I'm better off for it.